Hello again, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. It's Mac here, Tightwood Bushcrafter. Today I've come up to that little spot that I found before. Fancy the walk out, a nice little bit of weather. It's still freezing, but you know, I don't mind the cold. Today I've been asked by a few people. Many years ago I used to make kit because the stuff that I was issued with was okay, but not the best. You know, most of it was designed in about 1950 and it was like 1980 something when we were still using it, both the webbing and the sleeping systems. So what I did, once I learned to use a sewing machine, I started to make my own stuff. And what you're going to see here is my tarp. I made it, and I've made about 3 of these for people so far, and this one is mine. It's the bag you're looking at is what I keep it all in. You'll see that inside there is the tarp and the necessary tent pegs, lightweight tent pegs, just to peg it down in its various configurations. So it's an all-in-one. I'll just grab it from the top or the side of my Bergen, straight away go straight into putting my Basha up. I'll always call it a Basha. I know a lot of people call it a tarp. Here it's made out of 2-ounce nylon. The casing that covers it is slipped, so this will then be easily, you can slip, you know, like the Fastex buckles through, and the Fastex, using my finger there, terrible, Fastex buckles can be pushed through there, so you can attach that horizontally to your Bergen or vertically. And there's a few ones on the other side where you can attach paracord to. So if you didn't want to keep this inside your Bergen, you can attach it on the outside. The closure method I've used, because I prefer it, it's simplicity. I like to keep things simple because they work. Is I'll put that down for a sec. The Velcro opening. Now in there, this Basha, like your tarps, can be put up with paracord. I have this thing where if this I'm going to be out there for a very long time, I want just an alternate system that doesn't weigh a great deal and will be far more robust than paracord for keeping a Basha or a tarp up there. This whole thing, as you see, it's about 17 inches long. I'll shut that down now. Again, that's all it takes to close it. It's about 17 inches long. There's my hand. It weighs 1.2 pounds, okay, in old money, and I don't think that's a bad weight at all. I don't know what the DD tarps and, you know, all the other flash ones weigh, because I don't have them. I just wanted to make my own. Like I say, I was making this well, at least 20-25 years ago when I was still in the army. The 58 poncho was okay, adequate for task, but we could do a lot better than that. I'm going to just give you a demonstration of how I put it up. I'll put it up in the one that I would probably use the most, certainly if I'm sleeping at night, which is the A-frame or tent sort of style. So I'll bring you back in a few moments. Right, ladies and gents, I'm now going to set the tarp up. What I've done, I've deliberately picked 2 trees that are very wide apart, probably wider than most people would go, on that premise, just as a display that you won't always have the trees nicely spaced. So this is where my little system comes in. Just allows me a little bit of latitude in the length between the 2 trees. Give it a second, I think I've got my stopwatch on. Here we go, let's have a look. got the two nylon guides out, don't take too long. And the tarp. As I say, this is what I've made myself for the own size. I'll go into the sizes and all these specifications in a moment. I'll bring it in closer so you can have a look as well. At this point, I'm just trying to show you how I would individually set it up. And I'll come back and adjust all that later on. Inside the bag, in a small inner sleeve, I carry the tent poles that I need. Nice and tight so they don't all come falling out. Murphy's Law, my bootlaces come undone. Well, it's taken me 4 minutes to get up, and like I say, no matter how wide that gap was, I've got a lot of latitude that will allow me to actually bridge the gap between two trees. I'm going to bring you in closer now and let you have a little look at the tarp. Right, here's a little bit of a closer look at my old tarp. As I say, it weighs about 1.2, 1.3 pounds, so just say at the outside £1.5 pounds, and that's with the nylon straps and the two little metal clips that I got there. It's made out of 4-ounce nylon, obviously brown in colour, you can see that. The length is 3 metres and it's 2.5 metres wide, more than enough to get me all my kit and anything I need under that. Again, I've just set it up in the simplest form there, which is the A-frame method. I can't imagine me going to sleep in anything else. I'm going to just detach the camera from the tripod and just bring you around and show you through the points on how I attach things. Might be slightly different to everybody else does that, but we've all got our own ways of doing something. But what I will say now is there was no reason why I just couldn't have a piece of paracord securing that to both trees. But as you can see, I can go from trees that are twice, maybe 3 times that distance, because we won't always have that nice distance apart, will we? So I plan for all eventualities. Anyway, I'm going to bring you in a bit closer now. I always prefer, it's getting a bit heavy, this tarp, and all tarps, I don't like damage to any tree, so I've just done a simple tree hugger there, and you can see, like my most excellent sewing, I go over things over and over again, and each time I stop and rethread the cotton again, so if one of them stitches comes, or lines of stitches comes undone, it's not going to affect any of the, each is a separate stitch in its own right, or line of stitches. It comes all the way down. Again, this just here, tied up out of the way, it's just the length that I would need it. I may actually shorten this, but I don't know. It comes down to a very, very strong Fastex clip, and the way I do that is attach it with a small little carabiner onto a nylon strap. And here we can see how I've stitched that nylon strap, and again I've hemmed that all the way down. It's got the usual amount of attachments points, but what I do with every single one of them is put a little bit of, I think that's about 5mm strap, shock cord, or bungee cord as we call it. Again, I'm going to come down to one of them. All the corners are the same, but here we can see, again, I've not done it to flash and too fancy. I've got some nice brown cotton now, because this was one of the prototype ones I did. I've sewed it round and down each one of these stitches. If one comes undone, it's not going to affect the other one. And again, we can see some little bit of shock cord tied on, nothing too fancy, into me peg into the ground. I'm going to take that up for a moment, because I want to turn this over just to reinforce that side. Sorry about that. There's some Cadora nylon there, and as you can see, it's hemmed all the way along the inside. Not very hard to do. Sat down there, perhaps I'd say if you start at 1 o'clock, you can be finished by about 5. It doesn't take all that time, but if you're going to make something, you know, try and do it the best you can. And I've just reinforced the corners where necessary, because that's going to be one of the stress points. And you can't see it because I've used black cotton, but that is sewn and then sewn and then sewn again. So if one row of them stitches do give, there's the other set and separate set of stitches behind it that will obviously not be affected, obviously, and once you realise it's going, you can give it your own repair. I come down, because the way I join these two pieces of material together, hopefully this is getting all this, is to do what I know as a French seam. I think the easiest way to show you that is to, okay, oh yeah, take another tent peg up and turn it over. So let's do it like that. My blood pressure planning weren't good there. Okay, you can see there's loads and loads of stitching on that, so that's not going to come undone. That's not one of the primary stress ones anyway, the corners are. But this is what I know as a French seam. So if there was any water that would come down the outer stitch line, I'm doing this very well on my side troops, it would do there where I've sewed it and then left a loop and a channel double sewed. There, any water coming through that set of stitchings, or either of them two stitchings, will come down into this channel. Okay, it's like a guttering, as you can see. So it's all the way down, all the way across. The water would literally come through the stitching, if need be. I've never known it to, but if it does, come through there and come all the way down there, and at some point it would come out that side or start collecting down there, keeping it off me. But I had this Basha, anybody from the UK I know, over the last month we had some, well, more rain than we normally get in about 3 winters put together. I think this Basha was outside in my garden just as a test, because there's no point building something and then not testing it properly. Certainly got a robust workout in the fact that it was up there and it never let any rain in through that top stitching, because this was the one that was my main concern. Like I say, this is a stitch line here where the two lots are joined together. If it goes through there, there is a guttering inside where it will run down inside of the material. And I'm just going to put a few tent pegs in just so you can see what it looks like inside. I'm sure you've all seen the inside of a Basha, but never mind, let's just do that to finish off. Oh. Just bear with me, troops. And I think, as you'll agree, more than enough space for, you'd quite happily get two blokes in there with their kit, one on one side and one on the other side. Like I say, it's 3 metres by 2.5 metres over the apex.